Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Heather, and for convening this important conversation in your role as president of CRES and chair of National Clean Energy Week. I'm delighted to be here today representing the Export-Import Bank of the United States. Many of you know us in the audience, but a few may not. So first, just a little bit of background on this small, independent federal agency that punches above its weight. Since it was established 88 years ago, XM has played a critical role in fostering economic opportunity for U.S. companies and their workers. As the official export credit agency of the United States government, we have a simple yet important mission: to support U.S. jobs by facilitating exports. We achieve that mission by helping U.S.-based exporters by providing export credit insurance, working capital loan guarantees, and supply chain financing, and by helping foreign buyers of U.S. manufactured goods with direct loans and guarantees in the medium and long term. It's important to note here that we don't compete with the private sector. We fill in the gaps when they cannot or will not provide financing because of sector limitations or risky markets, even liquidity issues such as those caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So think of us as a complement to the private sector, since most of our transactions are actually done in conjunction with private sector lenders through our loan guarantees or delegated authority. Our goal is to help U.S. companies win more sales overseas and ultimately to be more competitive globally. Perhaps even less well known about XM is that our support of small and medium-sized enterprises represents about 90% of our annual transactions. Everything from microgrids to microbrewery machinery to construction equipment for civil engineering projects. The bottom line, XM is here to reduce the risk of exporting and ensure that American-made goods and services have a level playing field on which to compete when they look to access foreign markets. Because in a fair fight, American businesses can and will win more overseas sales. And then we at XM will have fulfilled our mission of supporting jobs through exports. XM is unique because of our focus on goods and services which are made in America. One new initiative that complements XM's foreign buyer financing programs is our domestic finance initiative. Dubbed Make More in America, this initiative is a result of President Biden's executive order, which directs XM to use existing authorities to support export-oriented U.S. manufacturing products. Incentivized sectors include the sectors we're talking about here today: environmentally beneficial projects, renewable energy, energy storage, energy efficiency. This may very well help revitalize American manufacturing and improve the resiliency of our supply chains. What it allows XM to do for the very first time is provide support across the entire life cycle of an export, from capital investment to enable production capacity here at home, to export credit insurance and buyer financing to win specific sales. Supporting the full life cycle of an export, by the way, it's not a new idea. Many other export credit agencies throughout the world have been doing this for quite some time to make their country's businesses more competitive. Additionally, relying on any one country for critical materials, including those needed for the renewable energy products, is just not a good idea. We're hearing a lot of buzz recently amongst clean tech companies about this new initiative at XM, and that's a good thing. You know, XM has, believe it or not, a long history of working in this space. In 1992, Congress directed us to support environmentally beneficial exports. Then in 2002, that was expanded to include renewable energy-related goods and services. Recently, in our 2019 reauthorization, Congress broadened that mandate to include energy storage and energy efficiency technologies, and instructed XM to make available 5% of its financing authority to support it. From the White House, we have President Biden's recently announced Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, or PGII, coming out of the G7 Leaders Summit a few months ago. Key areas of the PGII related to today's conversation include clean energy supply chains, energy security, the responsible mining of metals and minerals, and low-emission transportation. Under PGII, the U.S. is committing $200 billion over 5 years out of a G7 total of $600 billion, recognizing that as we combat the existential threat posed by the climate crisis, we must pursue a clean energy transition worldwide without leaving any country behind and taking a whole-of-government approach. So, it's a critical time to get going. Here at XM and at Commerce and at the Department of Energy and USTDA, at the DFC, and all of our other sister agencies. U.S. industry has some top-notch offerings in this space, and many of those companies, I suspect, are in this virtual room today. We are hearing firsthand the need for these products and the desire to buy American. And we're seeing more and more applications each day here at XM, especially related to storage, which we all know is just critical for transitioning. And because XM can offer extended terms up to 18 years to foreign buyers, both sovereign and private sector, our financing becomes more attractive and U.S. exports become more competitive. Like the Zacapa solar energy project in Guatemala, where we provided a $9 million 18-year loan guarantee to support the export of solar panels manufactured by First Solar. And Cerro de Ula wind farm in Honduras, which received $159 million in financing for Siemens Gamesa wind turbines. Or the Novo Gramacho biogas project near Rio de Janeiro and $49 million in financing over a 12-year period. And my new favorite, which we just approved at board this past week, a 54-megawatt solar PV array with a 2.5 megawatt battery storage system near Tegucigalpa, Honduras. You've probably noticed I've mentioned XM-financed projects in Central and South America, and that's because I'm running point for the board in the Western Hemisphere, including the Caribbean. But we have a strong pipeline of long-term renewable energy, storage, and efficiency deals beyond Latin America and the Caribbean, including on the African continent. And if we set aside the urgent need to transition to a cleaner, greener future for just a moment, and look at this through a business lens, well, there's simply no reason why U.S. companies shouldn't take advantage of an industry experiencing double and triple-digit growth. And we at XM, we are so eager to finance those clean energy exports. I encourage you to be in touch with us regarding opportunities you may be pursuing or tenders in which you may be participating in this space of renewable energy and related sectors. Because at the end of the day, no clean energy project should not move forward for lack of financing. The climate crisis is too urgent and the risks are just too great. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.